Hi friends, my name is Kayla Rayne, and today I'm doing my monthly recommendations for the month of January. And it was a group vote this month, and y'all decided that we would do historical fiction recommendations. Monthly Recommendations is a group that I started with my good friend Trina over at Between Chapters, and I will leave links in the down bar below for you to access her channel and our Goodreads group, and I definitely encourage you to join in on the 2017 fun. But this month we are focused on historical fiction recommendations, and I cannot be more excited. I absolutely love historical fiction as a genre, whether it's incredibly detail-oriented, realistic fiction, or if it's just really awesome paranormal historical fiction. I love it all. I think that there is definitely a little something for everyone within this genre. So if you haven't read historical fiction and you're not really sure where to start, stick around because I have some recommendations for you. So my first recommendation is an oldie but a goodie, and that is Codename Verity by Elizabeth Wein. This is a historical fiction that's set during World War II, and it is just awesome, super fantastic girl power historical fiction. It follows two major female characters who are both on a different fighting front for World War II with the Allied powers, and it just follows the two as they fight in World War II and become close friends. This is one of those books that has some really great historical detail to it, but that's not the main focus. So if you're very character focused on your novels, I would definitely check this one out. The next book that I have to recommend is one that I'm sure you have seen me mention on this channel time and time again, especially if you have been around since the beginning, and that is The Cure for Dreaming by Kat Winters. This is such a fun YA historical fiction. It follows a main character named Olivia Mead as she joins the feminist movement in the early 1900s in the United States. And my one complaint for this book is definitely that it's not intersectional feminism. This was still such a fun novel to read, and I really thought that it was important for YA novels to address feminist issues and kind of show a little bit of history there with a main character. This book also blends another awesome thing that I love in historical fiction, and that is a paranormal aspect. This one is very light paranormal though, so if you like your historical fiction mostly historically accurate, this might be a good little gateway book to bridge you into the paranormal historical fiction world. The next book that I have to recommend is such a fantastic novel. I've definitely talked about this one before, and it is A Madness SoDiscreet by Mindy McGinnis. This book is just really character-oriented, and it follows a main character named Grace who trades some skills that she has on helping track down murderers for her freedom from a mental hospital. And this book, I was completely blown away by the way all the pieces kind of fell together. Historical fiction, mystery, thriller, and just really fantastic characters. Like, what more can you really want in a historical fiction novel? Now that I've discussed kind of my more historically accurate, very low-level paranormal historical fictions, I want to move into the fantasy, paranormal, that type of deal historical fictions, which are my personal favorite, and the ones that I'm very much excited to recommend to y'all. Starting with Born Wicked, which is the first book in the Cahill Witch Chronicles by Jessica Spotswood. This is an alternate historical fiction with magic and feminism and really amazing shippable couples, and it is perfection. It is a trilogy. I love it. The first book is Born Wicked, and it follows a main character named Kate who is a witch, but she has to hide that she's a witch because she's in a society that hates witches and women and freedom, basically, and she falls in love, and then she has to do really difficult things, and it's amazing. If you can't tell how excited I am just sitting here trying to wreck it to you, even though I did a very poor job, you should read it. Next, I have Seraphina and the Black Cloak by Robert Beatty, and this is just a personal favorite of mine because it takes place close to where I live in Asheville, North Carolina at the Biltmore Estate way back when it was first being built and the Biltmore family was living there. And it follows a main character named Seraphina, and she has to defeat this magical creature in a black cloak that keeps stealing children, and it is just such a whimsical yet dark historical fiction with a paranormal aspect, and it is fantastic. This is just such a magical middle grade novel. I really enjoyed it, and I think that it blends paranormal aspects and historical fiction in this really fantastic, wonderful way that just almost makes it feel like it can't be real life. but I know it's real life because it's like right over there where I live. It's here. It's real. But it seems like another world. And the last book that I would like to recommend to y'all today is Clockwork Prince by Cassandra Clare. This is the first book in the Infernal Devices trilogy, and this is just a fun historical fiction trilogy that again blends that paranormal aspect. And I know that this is a really popular series and many people have read it, but considering I didn't even read it until I started BookTube, I feel like it's still okay to recommend popular series because sometimes not everyone has read them. So I wanted to recommend this one because it's pretty fun. I really liked how it had almost like a steampunk element to it without being too heavy. It still stayed true to some historical moments, but it's not very heavy on the historical details, which I know some people get a little bit bored with. So I think that's definitely important to note that if you're someone who doesn't like a lot of details, that might be the trilogy for you because it's not as detail-oriented with historically accurate moments, but it definitely has that feel. It has some steampunk elements, it has some paranormal elements, and it's in the world of the Shadowhunters, so if you've read that series and you love it, you should definitely branch out and check out that trilogy, which I personally thought was way better than the main series. So that's my unpopular opinion for the day. Anyway, that has been it for today's video. Thank y'all so much for watching. I am so excited to be moving into another year of monthly recommendations in 2017. We recently celebrated our 1-year anniversary and we are working up towards our 2-year anniversary, which is so exciting, and it's just so refreshing and nice to start the 2017 year. So I definitely recommend, if you're starting off on BookTube, give us a chance, give us a try. It's really fun to be part of the group and do these videos on a regular basis and just create this content on your channel where you can recommend to your fellow YouTubers and viewers what you would like them to read, and you can get some recommendations for yourself to check out, which I have really enjoyed about this group because it's broadened my reading since I started doing this way back when. Anyway, that has been it for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching. As usual, stay weird.